with Rican Vegan live cooking class. So last Tuesday we did was it Tuesday? I don't know. Earlier during the week we did guacamole rolls and they came out amazing. So today people wanted a snack. We're gonna be doing some chia seed pudding, chia seed pudding. And I'm just making sure all my guests are coming in. Uh-oh. And then, yeah. All right. So I'm gonna just flip you around here, set you up, make sure my guests are in, and then we're gonna get started with the recipe. And just in case, you know, a little lighting goes a long way. Here we go. All right. Let's see. Bree says she's in, but I don't see her. I don't know how that works. Hopefully, let's see. Hopefully it fixes on its own. All right, let me see. Let me fix this for her YouTube real quick. All right, family, let's get started. So today we're gonna be making our Coco chia seed pudding. Now this snack is amazing because it's very nutritious, it's high in fiber, it carbs sweet cravings, and it's like a good kind of sweet too. All the ingredients are organic, everything is plant-based, you know, all the favorites of a vegan lifestyle. So I'm just shaking up my coconut milk. Because I don't want it to come out soupy on me. And I like to start mixing the dry ingredients first. So in my little bowl, I have salt already because I have to grind my salt and that's really noisy, so I just did it before. And the recipe I shared with everyone, I'm actually cutting it in half today because it's only for me and I don't have as many mason jars because I used a lot of them. And I'm gonna start off by adding my cocoa powder. So you can use any kind of cocoa powder. Just make sure you know you get quality cocoa powder, get fair trade, etc., etc. Now you can use measuring spoons, but it's just better to use a regular spoon. Shh. My cat wants to come and join. There we go. I thought I had all the things I needed. Turns out I didn't. All right. Tablespoon of cocoa powder. So you just go ahead, scoop it up, make sure it's an even layer. Boom, cocoa powder. Dump her in. And I know the recipe calls for only 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, but I personally favor cinnamon more than any spice known to mankind. So I'm gonna do equal parts cinnamon and cocoa powder. If you're a cinnamon person like me, I definitely recommend trying the recipe out this way just because it tastes really good. And plus it's like a perfect fall taste since we're in fall right now. And then the last dry ingredient would be the chia seeds. So I'm gonna just go ahead and dump it in this bowl too so they could get coated with the flavor. The original recipe is 1/2 cup, but like I said, I'm cutting it in half. So we're doing a 1/4 cup. Just pour everything in and use my spoon. Make sure all my ingredients are in the bowl. All right. And then I'm gonna use a whisk to evenly combine everything. And as you can see, like my cinnamon or cocoa powder, whichever one it is like clumping up. So that's why it helps to do this before you get it in the wet mixture, because then it like gives it time to break up a little bit more. All right, this is gonna be all flavor, or like all of it. The chia seeds like really puff up in the liquid, so that's why it becomes a pudding. But right now it just looks like all powder. All right, so I'm gonna let that sit for right now while I go over to my wet ingredients. And just put my cocoa powder away, right? This cocoa powder is really good. I never heard of this brand before. Ace Nero. It has like a javelin person with a horse. I don't know, but it's pretty good. All right, and now we're gonna pour out our coconut milk. So I recommend getting a coconut milk in like a carton. I don't recommend anything in can, just because aluminum is a heavy metal that causes a lot of problems in our body. And you're gonna want 3/4 cup of coconut milk. And in that coconut milk, I'm going to be adding 1 tablespoon of maple syrup. Now this is maple syrup and agave together. You could honestly swap it out for either. You could even use honey. You could use nothing if you want. Like, you don't need to add a sweetener, but it just gives it that extra flavor. You know, if you're someone who always craves sweets and you're like, you know what, I can't do this to myself anymore, this is the best alternative ever. And this is coming from someone who loves sweets. Okay? So I feel your pain. That's why we're here. So it no longer becomes pain, and it's just a happy memory. And the same idea with the dry ingredients. We're gonna just mix it together, and it should like change color, be a little bit more like yellow or brown. All right, so now we're gonna go over to the bigger bowl. We're gonna put in a little wet in the bottom. I'm gonna do half wet. We're gonna do the dry. And because my cinnamon powder and cocoa powder is kind of clumpy, I'm gonna just start off like that. And mix it really well. Because when I'm eating my pudding, I don't want dry clumps in my mouth. I think that's gross, personally. So you want to just get it really evenly combined as possible. And what I love about this recipe is like everything has its own benefit. Like, so good. So also, just because I like my pudding to be a little bit more creamy, I'm gonna add a little bit extra coconut milk, but everything else could stay the same. So I know this is different from the recipe I put in the chat, but this is just how I like to cook. I like to mix it up. I like to go with my gut instinct. And food usually turns out better that way. Just saying. Alright, so now all you gotta do is just keep mixing till everything is evenly combined. And then after this step is done, you just have to let it sit in the fridge for a couple hours. So with this recipe specifically, it's recommended that you let the mixture sit in the fridge for about an hour. And then after an hour, you're gonna go back in and you're gonna mix it one more time just to make sure everything is combining good, everything is going over well. And by the time you go in after that first hour, it should be like really more, like a lot more thick. So it'll be like a little bit harder to mix. But that's a good thing because you want a pudding texture. You want it to be nice and creamy. So we're just gonna, there we go. Just wanna scrape the sides down to make sure everything's getting in here. Here we go. Boom. Here we go. All right. So I'm almost done mixing. I don't see any more clumps. I see a few more clumps, so I'm gonna just keep whisking away. And then it got a little bubbly on me, which is fine. That's just the fat. And plus, I think putting it with coconut milk is way better than like any other milk, because coconut milk just has like this natural sweetness to it that I think really helps with those sweet cravings, like I mentioned. It just makes it like the perfect dessert. And anything with coconut and chocolate in it is just really good. But let's say for some reason you're allergic to coconut, you can use really any nut milk. But then again, if you're allergic to coconuts, you're probably allergic to other nuts. In that case, you could do like hemp seed milk, or I'm trying to think what other seed milks are there. You can always make your own milk out of any seed, really. Like you could even do oat milk, right? Oat milk is not a seed or nut. I guess that's why they made that alternative for people who are allergic to nuts. And I think she's good. I don't see any more clumps. She looks nice and creamy already. So we're gonna just cover her up, put her in the fridge for 1 hour. After that hour passes, you're gonna mix it one more time. And when you do that mix, you can separate this mixture into 2 separate jars or 3 separate jars, right? However much servings you prefer. And then you just let it chill until you're ready to eat. That was really simple. So thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments. And I'll do the next one next month. Bye, guys. Are you sure you want to end this streaming? I am sure. Bye.